Come on in for Devils in Detail. I'm Ethan Schmidt. He's Alex Weiner, and he gets to anchor for the first time, everyone. And we're in the stew whipping up the latest on ASU athletics.
Yep, I'm excited for my debut. Ethan, we got a full tap of ASU sports coming up with the Pac-12 tournament in men's basketball this week. The women's tournament was last week, and conference season is about to start on the Diamond.
Well, we jump right into things with ASU men's basketball. They'll get to try their luck in Vegas this week at the Pac-12 tournament. The Sun Devils enter their conference tourney as the number 2 seed and get the precious first-round bye. We welcome in our expert, Trevor Booth, to give us some extra insight on the team. How's it going, Trevor?
It's great, Ethan. It's March. It's the best time of the year.
March Madness, baby. And going into the Pac-12 tournament, Arizona State has won their last 5 out of 6. They're hot. Do you think the team is playing its best basketball at the right time?
Well, Ethan, it's easy to say that just because you're right. They won 5 out of 6. This is their best stretch in conference play. And a lot of things are going right, and especially how they can string together some of these close wins, like the Oregon State game and then being in Tucson and being able to pull that game out down the stretch. But I don't think this is necessarily the best this team can play. These last couple games, it's been a couple guys, Remy Martin and Luguentz Dort, that have taken the game over for themselves in the closing minutes, and you've seen a couple other players get left out. Rob Edwards was scoreless against Arizona on Saturday, and he's one of ASU's best shooters, so they're going to need him back involved, and they haven't yet been healthy. Tayshaun Cherry was out again last week with head issues. It seems like he's going to be back in the Pac-12 tournament this week, so this is a team that needs to get everyone together in order to for sure say that they're playing their best basketball.
Well, Trevor, it's a lineup that can produce numbers all down the list. Every player on that roster can produce for the Sun Devils. Now, which player do you believe will be most crucial to ASU's success in Las Vegas and potentially the NCAA tournament?
It's got to be Remy Martin, and he was a guy that was not on the All-Pac-12 first team. McKinley Wright from Colorado got ahead of him. A lot of people thought Remy got snubbed in that, and I agree. He leads this team and he leads the conference during league play in assists at 6.2, and he also leads in assist to turnover ratio. And he's already proven, you saw in the Arizona game, the first and second time, that he's a guy down the stretch that ASU can get the ball to, make some of his pull-up shots, and then create plays for others. And he's going to be a guy that's going to have to get a Romello White and a Rob Edwards back involved, especially since they weren't in these last couple games. So expect Remy Martin to do things on the offensive end to create, and also in transition for others for himself.
Definitely. Martin, one of the microwaves for the Sun Devils team, always brings the energy for Bobby Hurley and his teammates. Now, Trevor, finally, I want you to fill in the blank. The Sun Devils will win the Pac-12 tournament
if they get everyone involved. And I've said it before, and it sounds easy, but it's really the key for this team. They're 12-0 when they assist more than 55% of their buckets. And when they get 4 or more guys in double figures, it's really hard to beat them. They've done it a couple times. They did it the first time against Colorado. That was probably one of their best games of the year. So in order to do that and to win a tournament, it's going to take that, because there's going to be close possession games and opportunities where you're going to have to make sure everyone's keyed in. And it's going to start by getting Rob Edwards involved, making him sure he can score at the beginning of the games. And then also on the defensive end, if everyone's getting their touches on offense, that's going to trigger more energy on the defensive end. So that's got to be the key for it, Ethan.
Well, we will see how it all shakes up for the Sun Devils. It's March Madness time, baby.
Yeah.
And we like to thank Trevor for coming on, giving us his analysis. And you can check out everything from him and the rest of our men's basketball coverage at devilsindetail.com.
We are now joined by women's basketball savant Sam Ficarro. Arizona State is coming off a quarterfinal exit at the Pac-12 women's basketball tournament in Las Vegas, as they will now await their name on Selection Monday. Sam, what were some of the positives and negatives from their tournament?
Yeah, I think a positive you could take away if you're ASU, I think, is their bench production. I understand they lost to UCLA in the quarterfinals. They were hoping for a Pac-12 tournament title, but the bench had 25 points, which is especially crucial because Ibis has struggled. It looks like she's gotten a little bit fatigued here, so these 2 weeks will be big for the Sun Devils. Kiara Russell performed well when Riley Richardson turned over the ball a lot against UCLA. Sophia Lenga's playing probably the best basketball of her career, and Charlie Turner-Thorne would agree with that statement as well. So I think the bench is a big takeaway. And also in the first-round game against Colorado, the ASU hit a bunch of threes. Courtney Ekmark had 6 threes, and I think that's really crucial for ASU in a tournament format. They got to be able to hit 3-pointers. Charlie's expectation preseason was to hit 8 3-pointers a game, and they're averaging below that right now. So those are the 2 big positive takeaways. Some negatives for ASU. It's just slow starts. Again, they just struggled getting off to a good start. UCLA really hurt them. They were down double digits. Like they are a second half team. They're built to come back, but they average the fewest possessions among the nation. So they need to stop burying themselves a deep hole heading into the NCAA tournament.
Right, and so they will have a little bit of a break, but do you feel the team is in a good state heading into the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I think so. I think Charlie has always built this team to be really good in the NCAA tournament. The last 2 years, they have performed well in the first round. Like last year against Texas, it was a bit of a struggle, but 2 years ago, they almost upset the defending national champion South Carolina. They ended up winning the title that year after ASU came close to beating them in Columbia. And so I think Charlie always has a team playing very well in the NCAA tournament. This is a veteran team, and I feel this is going to probably be ASU's best chance to make the second weekend in about 5 years.
All right, and what seed do you think that they will get in this tournament?
Yeah, I think right now they're looking at about a 5 or a 6 seed. I'm like right now, due to procedures, because of the Pac-12 getting 6 teams in, they're projected 5 seed. I think they'll probably be more of a 6 seed. I think come March Madness, once the mid-major tournaments wrap up here, I think that'd be a good seed for ASU. And for them, it's going to be more of just trying to avoid Baylor. I think Baylor's the biggest, would be the toughest 1 seed to match up against. And I think if you're ASU, you want to try to get the bottom half of each quadrant and try to get the 2-3 matchups. I think ASU would have a good chance of beating them.
All right, really great stuff from you, Sam. We appreciate you coming on. You can check out all of his work and the rest of our crew's coverage at devilsindetail.com.
Sun Devil hockey is everything but officially in the 2019 NCAA tournament. The team didn't finish the regular season quite how it wanted to, getting swept by Minnesota on the road. However, it doesn't take away from the body of work ASU created. The program completed a historic regular season with a 21-12-1 record that has produced a 100% probability to make the big dance. Co-captain and junior defenseman Brenton Pashnuk said last week, quote, "We're not shocked at all. We were expecting this," end quote. It will be the first time an independent receives an at-large bid since 1992. Now, the Sun Devils are in the midst of a 3-week stretch where they get to relax and rest up until Selection Sunday on March 24th. It'll be televised on ESPNU at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Who better to pick for the Athlete of the Week than the Pac-12 Zone Player of the Week? Arizona State outfielder Hunter Bishop has provided incredible power all season to a Sun Devil offense that has scored the second most runs in the country. And in 4 games last week, he went 9 for 16 with 3 home runs, a double, and a triple. He slugged a modest 1,313 to rise to 4th in the country in slugging percentage, and his 8 home runs are a new career best for the junior.
Well, Alex, you touched on Hunter Bishop. ASU's got Spencer Torkelson. Lyle Lynn has picked up production. And the bats are just on fire for the Sun Devils to begin the year. The offense is one of the best teams in the country, as you mentioned. So where do you think this success on offense is just coming from right out of the gates?
Well, a big thing is their depth in their lineup as well as more experience. Last year, they were one of the youngest teams in the country. I mean, Spencer Torkelson, as great as he was still a freshman. So was basically the entire infield, as well as a couple of bench pieces. So now that they have had their time, they had their at-bats last year, they've had an offseason to work on it. Everyone pretty much has improved from last year. Trevor Hauver being the big improvement because he didn't even hit a home run last year, and this year he's already hitting them in the leadoff spot. So, the depth in the lineup, hitters 1 through 9 have been dangerous. They also know their roles because the 9th hole hitter is not trying to hit home runs every time. He's trying to get on base because of the home run hitters at the top of the lineup. And when people know their roles, it's a lot easier to just move the bat through the lineup.
Well, I tell you what I find just astonishing is that all of the 9 usual starters in the hitting lineup are batting over 300, and that's almost unprecedented in baseball to have your whole lineup hitting with that kind of succession. You mentioned it, getting on base. So all these players are able to bring production to the offense. Do you think that's something that can last for them throughout the season?
So far, I mean, I think that the way that they've looked so far, it's a promising sign because it's not just people getting lucky. The slugging percentages are really high on this team.
Definitely.
They're finding ways to get on base as well. It's not just bloop hits here and there. The numbers show that they're barreling up the ball, and that's a great sign.
Well, on the other side of things, the pitching hasn't necessarily been there the past few seasons for ASU, but now they're getting the kind of starts that they want from their pitching rotation. And how do you think that they have performed and it's attached to this success?
It's been huge because Alec Marsh, who they knew was going to be the Friday starter, I think since the end of last year, he's really broken out this season. His ERA is tremendous. I think it's still under 1. He has been incredible as a Friday night starter. Then you had Boyd Vanderkoy, who was who started last year as a freshman, got hurt, never really looked the same, but then now he's really starting to gain some momentum.
He's picking it up as of late.
Yes, and then RJ Dabovich, who was a transfer student who came in here, high heat, and he's been pretty good so far, and he's been improving each start as well. And they also have a freshman named Eric Tolman, who's sort of a Swiss Army knife, who can start the midweek games, who can come in relief, and he's been very terrific as well.
Well, the pitching staff getting the job done, but just what's crazy is that this team has over 160 runs through what will be their 16th game played on Wednesday night against New Mexico State, and 9 of the 15 games played so far have had double-digit run totals. So just some crazy offense so far for ASU baseball, and they start Pac-12 play this upcoming weekend.
17th ranked Sun Devil softball finished non-conference play Tuesday with a 14-0 win over Lehigh after going 4-1 in the ASU Invitational. The Sun Devils finished the non-conference slate with signature victories against Texas and James Madison, as they'll take a 20-7 record into the Pac-12 play. Beginning Friday, ASU will face Oregon State for a 3-game series at Farrington Stadium in Tempe.
All-Pro NFL linebacker Terrell Suggs is returning to Arizona. The former ASU standout has spent his entire career, 16 seasons, with the Baltimore Ravens after being drafted 10th overall in 2003. But T-Sizzle, as some people like to call him, has decided to join the Arizona Cardinals on a 1-year, $7 million deal, according to multiple reports. Suggs is 36 years old and is playing beyond his years. He's been a 7-time Pro Bowler and leads the Ravens in all-time sacks. The first time he had been a free agent his career, and he will get to return to where he grew up here in the desert. Well, thank you for taking the time to join us, folks. And Alex, you killed it today, my man.
Thanks a lot, Ethan. I had a great time being here asking the questions and not the other way around. Be sure to follow us at Devils_Detail to keep up with the latest in ASU athletics at devilsindetail.com. See you next week.